Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Acharya Shri Vasari Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We've been given this Maha Mantra, we've been given the Panchatattva Maha Mantra, and we've been given the path of devotion, selfless action for the Lord. Everything belongs to Him, so we need to learn how to use everything for Him. So the holy name, service, and service means not only directly to the Lord, but through His agents, through the devotees and Sri Guru. So we know in this world this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And in Chaitanya Bhagavat, Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, the book written by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, then Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur has described about on the evening before Mahaprabhu left early the next morning to take sannyas, then he instructed all of the devotees earnestly. He told them, he explained to them the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And he gave instruction to them. Now you chant your japa and you chant this holy name at all time, all circumstances. And this was his intense request and instruction to all of the devotees, knowing that he's going to leave the next day. So his most important instruction he's given in this way. Only think of Krishna, only chant Krishna's name, only engage in the Lord's service, and especially the service of the holy name, that in Kali Yuga there is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way. So we are fortunate to know this Maha Mantra, we are fortunate to be connected from the upper world through Guru and his grace with that Maha Mantra. And we are very fortunate that Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu has come to reveal the very purpose of life, the goal of life, and how to achieve it. Eternal joy, eternal love of God, Krishna Prema, this great gift that has been given by Mahaprabhu to the world. So this is the time of Mahaprabhu's sannyas, and when he left Navadip forever, we've been on different occasions discussing about his leaving from Navadip, his receiving sannyas, his wandering throughout Raradesh, the district of West Bengal on the western side of the Ganges, where, by the way, is the appearance place of Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rakkhak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj. That means Sripat Hapanya Dham. There Srila Guru Maharaj appeared. And the appearance place of Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj, which is at Sripat Bamun Paradam. So Raradesh is an extensive area of land where it's told the Ganges is not visible in those places, but the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spread here and there throughout those times, and at other times in their congregational chanting, Nam Sankirtan, etc. And while visiting Sripat Bamunpara, Srila Gurudev's birthplace one year, then Srila Gurudev asked, please drive around the village. That means not in the center of the village of Sripat Bamunpara. Actually, it's a little tricky to drive a car there, but we have done so. But Gurudev asked, drive around the village. And now there is a road. It's not a road, it's a mud track that the tractors use for coming to and from the fields, from their farms. And there is this road, you can say, mud road, which goes around the village. And Gurudev just had me drive slowly, and we went, and he's looking here, looking there. And Gurudev showed a large tree as we're going around on the left, as continuing. And he showed a large tree, and he said that the villagers say that it is under this tree that Mahaprabhu, he rested one day after receiving sannyas and while roaming in this district of Raradesh. And Srila Gurudev told that in his youth he saw here, he said, thousands of cows grazing and thousands of cows being herded by the cowherd men. And he said, now just one or two, we see a few cows. But he said about in his child and youth time, he said how many cows used to be grazing in this area, and so much more forested, much more forest in that area. But this tract of land is known as Raradesh. And Mahaprabhu, after wandering, after taking sannyas without any proper knowledge of which direction to go, except his plan and where he's planning to go, he's thinking he's going to Vrindavan. So we've been discussing various aspects of Mahaprabhu's receiving sannyas, his roaming around, his being tricked by Nityananda Prabhu to come to the banks of the Ganges, almost opposite to Shantipur and the home of Advaita Acharya. But now in this short few minutes that we have together on Instagram and Zoom, just a little reflection on when Mahaprabhu, after being tricked by Nityananda Prabhu, makes it to the banks of the Ganges, which Nityananda says, this is the Jamuna, which indeed he then asserted it is the Jamuna, because the Jamuna flows on the west side. When passing through Navadip Dham at least, then it is understood that the Jamuna is on the west side and the Ganges is on the east. Then they took Mahaprabhu in a boat to Advaita Acharya's home. So Advaita Acharya induced him to come to break his fast at his home. So we're joining there just now, and just to have a little feeling of how Guru Maharaj and Gurudev describe, how Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj also describes that gathering that took place at Advaita Acharya's home, because news was sent to Navadip that Mahaprabhu, he has taken sannyas, and where is he now? He's now come to Advaita Acharya's home, and Advaita Acharya, he begged Mahaprabhu to stay there, and kept him there with the bond of affection for not only a few hours, but to stay there for a short while. And so while he's there, then news was sent to Navadip, and the Navadip Basis, they came down to have this darshan of Mahaprabhu at Advaita Acharya Bhavan, the home of Advaita Acharya. And this is a very intense time, because Sachi Mata Devi, she, the mother of Nimai Pandit, she came. Also Haridas Thakur came. So many came, and they had Mahaprabhu's darshan. But they were all so sad to see Mahaprabhu with his head shaved, wearing the saffron cloth, and that he was in this posture, this garb of a sannyasi, not only the garb of a sannyasi, but he received sannyas. And those days, these days too, but especially those days, to take sannyas means that you will not return to your home anymore. Now you will be out and will be in the preaching world. You will rely on the Lord and not on the home comforts of the material world. So they knew that Mahaprabhu, he would not come back to Navadip. And he's taken sannyas, he's gone now forever. And they're seeing him, and they're all so sad. So in one sense, joyful that they could again meet with Mahaprabhu, but so sad to see him as a sannyasi. Anyhow, Advaita Acharya, he arranged that Mahaprabhu will break fast, and he told to Mahaprabhu, please, you just take little something here in my home, break fast. You've been wandering for at least 3 days, you've not eaten anything, and now is the time to break fast. So come to my home. There in his home, then Advaita Acharya, along with his family, with the associates, then he arranged some cooking for Mahaprabhu and for the assembled Vaishnavas. And we all know that wherever a great personality, wherever Gurudev would go, he would have associates, and so many people would come and see him. Also, that mood in Advaita Acharya's home, so many people came. But Advaita Acharya, he made arrangements for cooking, and then he came to offer to Mahaprabhu, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's now a sannyasi, so he's saying, oh, just give me a little bit of lafra and rice. The lafra is like the very cheapest kind of vegetables, the very simple vegetables. It usually has a lot of string inside, and you have to chew, and you can only eat part, and other part you chew, and then you can't eat because it's all like stringy, and you have to not eat. Okay, so anyhow, Mahaprabhu said, you give me the regular cheap vegetables, the lafra and a little food, and give the opulent preparations you've made to the others. But by hook or by crook, Advaita Acharya, through affection, was able to distribute prasadam to Mahaprabhu. And despite Mahaprabhu's protests, but Mahaprabhu is accepting the love of his devotees. And Advaita Acharya, he is the one who called for Krishna to come himself to set everything right. He's the one who called, and Krishna came as Gauranga, Gaurahari, the Golden Lord, in the Krishna himself in the garb of Srimati Radharani, in her heart and halo, in her mood. And Krishna came in order to deliver the whole world, the fallen souls, by that prayer of Advaita Acharya. And Advaita Acharya got this opportunity to cook for the Lord and for the devotees. And Advaita Acharya, when he's getting protests coming from Mahaprabhu, no, I'm a sannyasi, I should only eat a little bit, this amount, and very simple things. Then Advaita Acharya, he was very alert, and he said, don't try to cheat us and fool us. I know who you are, and in the Jagannath temple you eat over 50 times every day, and not just a little, you eat so much. So don't try to fool us, we know who you are. And this way, bit by bit, Advaita Acharya giving a grand feast to Mahaprabhu and to Nityananda and the many associates who came from Navadvip. And of course, in their Leela, there is always some personality taking place when we're with the supreme personality of Godhead in his various immediate manifestations as well as in his creation. Then there are always personality activities taking place. And seated beside Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was Nityananda Prabhu, and Advaita Acharya giving so much to Mahaprabhu, so much to Nityananda Prabhu. And whenever the clay pots that they're getting their different preparations in become half honored, half consumed, half eaten, then Advaita Acharya would again top up those pots. And so Mahaprabhu, he is continuously saying, oh, too much, too much. But when they're coming to finish their meal, Nityananda Prabhu, he is saying, I've also been fasting these days while Mahaprabhu has been taking sannyas. I've been shadowing him, I've been following him, I've been there for service, if any service will be needed, and my service was to bring him here to your home, Advaita Acharya. I've also been fasting. I thought today I would break my fast. But what you've served to me is hardly a morsel. How can I be satisfied by this? So this way, Nityananda Prabhu, joking with Advaita Acharya, and then starts to throw some rice. And, oh, what is this? And as he's throwing his hand, and some rice goes from his hand and touches Advaita Acharya's body. And then Advaita Acharya, dancing and jumping. Oh, I'm so fortunate. I've been touched by the prasad rice of Nityananda Prabhu. And this way, the wonderful interaction between the most wonderful section of devotees, the Lord coming as a devotee along with his expansions as devotees and along with his eternal associate devotees. And so many leelas took place that time in Advaita Acharya's home. And while Mahaprabhu was there in Advaita Acharya's home, then Sachi Mata very humbly, very pitifully prayed to Advaita Acharya, please allow me to cook as long as Mahaprabhu is here, as long as Nimai is here in your home. Please allow me to cook, because I will not get that opportunity in the future. You all can go and meet him in Jagannath Puri, but I cannot go. I cannot again meet with him and cook for Mahaprabhu. So please allow me this opportunity. So with this pitiable, very humble plea, then Advaita Acharya and the devotees, they gave this opportunity for Sachi Mata, and she cooked for Mahaprabhu while he stayed there. And this place of Advaita Acharya's hosting Mahaprabhu and all of the entourage, as it were, this place is existing today. And for many years, when coming up and down from Navadip to Calcutta with Srila Gurudev and in service for Gurudev, we'd go up and down many times by train, but many times by road. And the general way to go by road after the Gauranga Setu was opened, the Gauranga, called the bridge that goes over the Ganges near Chaitanya Sarasat Mat. After the bridge was opened, then you can say the standard way to go to Calcutta was to cross Gauranga Setu, respectfully cross the Ganges, and then go to Krishnanagar and then follow the highway down to Calcutta. And that highway was a pretty rough road. Anybody who would take that road during those years in the 1980s and the 1990s would know that was a rough road. And so rough that one of our dear sannyasis, he said, the holes in this road should be given names, just like typhoons and hurricanes are given a name, hurricane this, hurricane that, etc. And his comment was, some of these holes are so big they should be given names. The road was very bad. But we would drive through Shantipur town, and Shantipur, the place of Advaita Acharya. And then later, a bypass had been built for quite a long time to bypass the town. And when we go through the town, it's a very narrow road, especially for a highway. But it's a narrow road, and it takes a 90-degree turn, and then takes another 90-degree turn. And on that second 90-degree turn to the right, then just opposite, there is the temple of Advaita Acharya, that Advaita Acharya, whether he established, but at one of the place, it's known as the place of Advaita Acharya. And so every time we go there, then Gurudev will see the temple is right in front. He will give his respect like this in the car, and we'll continue the driving to Calcutta, or vice versa. But then when the bypass was eventually opened, it had been built for some years, but it was complete except for the bridge over the railway line. So that seemed to be a stumbling block, but eventually they made the bridge, and of course without the bridge over the railway line, then the bypass was not functional. So once they got the bridge built, then we would go on the bypass to avoid going through the center of town. And there was a sign. They had a very simple sign on the side of the road pointing to Advaita, it says, to Advaita Acharya's place, and indicating it was the place of that festival. And we passed by that many times, going up and down, and again Gurudev, he would give obeisances like this. And by the way, that's in the midst of a mango orchard. And when that bypass opened, we are driving along, and so many mango trees, and the bypass is a little modern, so it's raised, and it's raised up, okay, so it can cross the railway line too. So it's raised up, so you can see left and right, because the land is very flat. And so many mango trees. And Gurudev very humbly and very simply said, when we are driving there, in the early days after the opening of the road, he said, "This is the orchard of Sri Advaita Acharya." And I mean, I suppose I was just so surprised the way Gurudev said it. "Oh, this is the orchard of Advaita Acharya." And so Esme said, "Oh, really, Gurudev?" And he said, "Yes, really. Advaita Acharya was wealthy, and the Lord himself, and his wealth was from, as is so often the case, from in India, rural India especially, and at that time it's from land and the orchard, and mango orchard. And so this mango orchard is the orchard of Advaita Acharya. Anyhow, after, when you go from Navadip, after crossing the bridge that goes over the railway, then after or before, anyhow, go on that road, then on the right side as you go into Calcutta, there is a sign saying to the place of Advaita Acharya. And we never went in, but then one day, then I had some duty. I was going from Calcutta, Gurudev was in Calcutta, I was going from Calcutta to Navadip for some duty, and then coming back to Gurudev in Calcutta. And we were taking the Tata Sumo, the driving one of the temple's cars. And I was with Jayadev Prabhu. Jayadev was one of Gurudev's drivers. He was a driver. And I was driving and Jayadev in the passenger seat. And we just looked at each other, and a little mischievously or secretly we said, "Let's go in and see what's in here, where this sign is," because we'd never been in, and some little inquisitiveness. So we went in, so we drove into the mango orchard and a little bit further in, and then out of sight of the road further in. Then there is this walled compound temple, nicely kept and looking very auspicious. And we went in there very carefully, we parked the car and went in very respectfully and looked around. And then it claimed to be the place where Mahaprabhu received his breaking fast and having the feast there being looked after by Advaita Acharya. And we never know unless we get confirmation from somewhere reliable. Is it really or is it really not? Because we know of the other temple in the center of the town, where I mentioned the road which goes through the center of Shantipur goes. So I didn't know, is it really so? So I quietly took some photos, and then later after we went to Navadip, and then after coming back to Calcutta, then one day I picked up the courage to confess to Gurudev, "Gurudev, you know that sign that says the place of Advaita Acharya and where the festival was held?" Then we went in there and I took some photos. Is this really the place? And Gurudev happily saw the photos and happily again and again looking said, "Yes, this is the place." So anyway, it was very beautiful, and beautiful interaction with Srila Gurudev. We didn't get into trouble for eye exercise, but we did go in, you could say, without first asking permission from Gurudev. But we went there, a little inquisitiveness, and then Gurudev was happy. And so that is the place. And again, you can see that we passed by that place many times. Gurudev himself could have asked, "Oh, let's go in there." But he didn't. But we had some mundane inquisitiveness, I suppose, and we went in. But there again, you see, Gurudev, without seva, he's not going anywhere, even if it's just a very few meters off the main road. And similarly, he gives that example about in Ambika Kalna. For many years he's in the temple, but he never went to the very famous temple where there are the deities of Mahaprabhu and Nityananda installed in the time of Mahaprabhu and Nityananda. And indeed they were invited to the inauguration of the temple. And anyway, a long history for that, a very important history. But Gurudev said, I had no savor. So although I went by there so many times, I never went to have darshan of the deities until Guru Maharaj said, oh, one day you should go when you're there and have darshan of these deities. So this is Srila Gurudev, exemplary in every sense, giving us what is Krishna consciousness, what is the mood, what is the etiquette, and giving us life in Krishna consciousness under his affectionate, caring shelter. And it is he and it is Srila Guru Maharaj, and they are inseparable from both sides. Gurudev inseparable from Guru Maharaj, and Guru Maharaj inseparable from Srila Gurudev. And it is they who we are trying to bring always attention of the sincere seekers, to see their wonderful nature, to see what they've given us, and to try to lead our lives according to their affectionate guidance. Not only affection, but affection, deep, sincere, and capable guidance. Their guidance is of such a nature that it not only showing, but they have that gift to give, if only we can make ourselves into a good receiver. So as always, let us try, and let us try to follow nicely their directives, their guidance, and let us try to make our life really a practicing life of devotion, wherever we live, temple, living in a temple or not in a temple. And the vast majority of devotees do not live in a temple. That doesn't mean we don't do the practices. Rather, we've seen the example of householders in India and now also abroad, where they can't conceive of starting their day going out to work without having done some puja, without having done some reading, done something in the morning as a standard practice. And the standard practice that Guru Maharaj and Gurudev have given in the mat, it is for everyone. And remember, Srila Saraswati, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Guru Maharaj's Guru, he gave 64 rounds of japa to chant every day, especially for the householders, because the householders naturally are dealing in pounds, shillings and pence, means dollars and cents, dealing with money, dealing with the material world, and to help to maintain always this consciousness of everything is for Krishna. Krishna is everything, the energy, the consciousness, the material things that we have. But we must remember that our consciousness without guidance is wrong. It is animal consciousness. It is self-centered consciousness. And so now we have to follow all of these practices that have been given by our masters and actually follow them with our daily sadhana. And this will help to keep our consciousness in the right place, and not only in the right place, but our journey home, which is real, emphasized by Guru Maharaj and Gurudev. It is a real journey, and they are giving us that guidance. So Mahaprabhu has taken sannyas to try to wake up all the fallen souls, all of those who may be inimical towards the Lord. But by Mahaprabhu's sannyas in a developed way, then he's made this strategy to bring attention to the holy name of the Lord and to the savor of Guru, Vaishnava and to Krishna. And Nityananda Prabhu has brought us the emphasis to chant the names of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, that he is so merciful. And if we will chant Gauranga's names, then Nityananda will be like soul to us. He will be merciful to us. And by the grace of Nityananda, by the grace of Gauranga, there we are getting access to Radha Krishna's highest confidential secret pastimes. So I think I spoke maybe for more than 15 minutes today. But this time of Mahaprabhu's sannyas, there are so many aspects, and I did want to share the joy, or there's so much more to share about Mahaprabhu's coming to Advaita Acharya's home, the cooking, the feasting, the chanting, the dancing, the interaction between the devotees. It's very intense. Please do read Chaitanya Charitamrita, this section. And this is the very time to read that section, and just to be a little bit aware, as Guru Maharaj and Gurudev showed about this time of Mahaprabhu's sannyas. Let's be aware of his sannyas. Let's be aware of why he took sannyas. And let us be aware that we are the fallen soul section, that Mahaprabhu came with so many strategies to try to bring to our home. But he's given us all free will. Will we be serious students or not? This is in our own hand. Let us try sincerely. Jai to Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai to Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rokop Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai to Srila Prabhupada, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai to Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. To Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Vaga ki Jai. To Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Jai Navadeep Dham, the most potent Dham in Kali Yuga ki Jai. And Jai Shri Yogapit ki Jai. Jai Shri Gangamayi ki Jai. Shri Jamunamayi ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. All the assembled devotees ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. Hari Hari Bo. Bancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadhara Srivas Adi Shri Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.